Yeah, but the devil's in your ear, and he's in everybody's ear, right? And he's getting at you. Like, yeah, but you remember everything that you did bad? Remember all these things? Remember your addictions? Remember this? Remember that? Whatever it is that you have, that's in. And I remember this like, I'm that analogy, that story in the gospel where Jesus is talking about dropping seed on the ground, and some of it sticks, some of it doesn't, right? And I'm like, which one am I? I know which one I want to be. I want to be the guy that grows in it. I want to be Saint Rick. That's my job, right? I'm supposed to be Saint Rick. I'm supposed to get my wife and my children to heaven. That's it. That's clear. I need to do that. But there's still this, like, we talked about yesterday over cigars. I was talking about dopamine.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. And I was like, dopamine is, be careful. If it's cheap and it's quick, it's probably bad. And so you should be earning that. There should be this sort of, gratification of what you've done to receive that. And then you'll start to find it doing nothing, sitting in an airplane, looking out the window, shoveling snow. I got a bird feeder for Christmas. That's how I know I'm getting old. And I just sit there and like watch. Now that once you regulate dopamine, I'm going off on a little bit of tangent here, so pull me back in. But that was the problem, is that I still had things that I was like trying to break myself free from. I'm reading books. I have some friends. There's a book called Slaying Dragons. I'm getting into binding prayers. But it wasn't until my second son, Mick, he's making his communion, which was about a year or two ago, and he's obviously, with that comes penance. So I'm like, all right, I haven't done penance in a long time, right? I haven't done it in a long time. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna, what do I gotta say? I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a lot. So I go in there, I got this whole thing planned. I am sweating bullets. And I walk in there, and it's Father McNeil, and I'm sitting there, and I like go to say the first word, and I'm just like, I just start bawling. And he's like, he looks at me, and he's like, relax, and he like throws over the Kleenex, and I'm sitting there like sobbing over all these sins. But when I walked out of there, I could have done a triple jump to the tabernacle. I was fired up. I was like, a complete weight was removed from me. And that was a huge moment of, okay, I've got this belief of no matter what I do, I'm always going to go back to sin. And I was like, no, dude, you got weapons right here. They're like in your backyard. You've got confessional, you've got the Eucharist, you've got all these things. Those two in rotation consistently are, that's your straight and that's your hook, that's your uppercut. Those are the punches that you got to throw. So then it was like, all right, I got to immerse. I'm going to church every single day. I'm trying to get the Eucharist every single day. I'm trying to pray the rosary every single day, confession once a month, prayers as much as I can. And before you know it, you're going to transform yourself. It's like anything else. Pick a sport that you guys grew up on. It could be dribbling a soccer ball, dribbling a basketball, throwing a football. How'd your first rep look? It stunk, right? And then you keep repping it, and you keep repping it, and you keep going, and you keep going. And before you know it, it's motor memory. So I have all these bad habits. I have bad emotional things going on. I have bad logic, and that gets me into a hypnotic rhythm. And there's just this whirlpool that's spinning. And that whirlpool is negative before God replaced it. So you have these new behaviors, this new emotion, new logic comes in, and that daily rhythm, we talked about the lazy river. And be like, well, what do you do for prayer? I'm like, well, first off, go back to the church fathers. This has all been settled for us. At the very least, I follow the liturgical calendar. Every day they got something for me. And the liturgical calendar to me was pretty obvious. I'm like, oh, the church it's breathing. It's living. It's every day it's inhaling and it's exhaling and it's inhaling and it's exhaling. And it's like a lazy river. It's just, you just got to make the decision to get your raft, go sit there. You don't got to do much. Just follow what they're telling you to do. And so just getting on that natural rhythm of the church, then the next step is so much easier.